Make your own Matilda cake, presented by me, Emily Hurley, and special thanks to Binging with Babish on YouTube for providing me with this awesome chocolate cake recipe. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to gather all your ingredients. In no particular order, we're going to have butter, sugar, milk, baking powder, eggs, flour, baking soda, cocoa powder, unsweetened, salt, cream cheese, buttermilk. It does make a difference to use buttermilk instead of milk. You can't just substitute. Then we're going to have vegetable oil and powdered sugar. And then while you gather all those ingredients and you have them ready to combine, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Make sure you don't turn it up too high. We don't want to have to use a fire extinguisher in our kitchen. So, the next thing you want to do is you're going to want to find 3 9-inch cake pans or cake pans that are pretty much similar in size, because that's what we need for this recipe. And then the first thing you're going to want to do once you find the cake pans is you're going to butter the inside of it. And then once you get the butter, you're going to throw a little bit of flour in there and roll it around, make sure it sticks to all the butter. Then once you get that done, you're going to line it with parchment paper. It keeps it from the cake sticking when we take it out of the oven. This is a YouTuber who does a lot of baking, and see here, she's making quite a big mess. So hopefully my instructions will keep you from making as big a mess as she has. So the first thing we're going to want to do is grab one bowl and mix together our dry ingredients: flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, and salt. Make sure you don't mix up the measurements for baking powder and baking soda. I've done that, and it completely ruins your cake. Then we're going to get another bowl together and mix together our wet ingredients, which would be buttermilk, eggs, and vegetable oil. Once you have them all cohesively mixed together in their own bowls, you're going to combine them. Make sure you pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, because it makes for a better mixture. And then you're going to take all 3 prepared pans, and you're going to divide the batter equally amongst the 3 pans. Once you have the pans already filled and ready to go, we are going to put them in the oven that has been preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to bake them for 30 to 35 minutes, whenever the tops look nice and brown and ready to go. And then once they're done, we're going to let them rest for about half an hour on a wire rack, or until they are completely cooled. They have to be completely cooled down before you put any icing on it, or it'll just run the icing off the cake. But while we're waiting for it to cook and to cool, we can go ahead and make the icing mixture. So we're going to beat together in a bowl with a blender butter and cream cheese. Make sure they're all completely coherently mixed. And then we're going to slowly add in cocoa powder first. Get it all mixed together, no clumps or anything. And then since there is 1.5 pounds of powdered sugar in this recipe, you need to slowly incorporate the powdered sugar, maybe about half a cup at a time, to get the powdered sugar mixed in. And then this is where you can add milk if you'd like. If you want to make your icing mixture more viscous, add a little bit of milk to make it thinner if it's too thick for your liking. And then once you've completed the icing and your cakes are all cooled, first thing you want to do is to level out all 3 of your cakes. They need to be nice and flat so they stack properly. And then next thing you're going to want to do is stack cakes. Make sure you put icing in between each layer. That way they won't move around and slide while you're trying to, move your cake around or share it with your friends. And then once you've stacked them, put icing between the layers, you're going to want to frost the outside of the cake. And do it as liberally as you like. Throw as much icing on there or as little icing as you'd like. It's your own preference. And then finally, my favorite step, you're going to want to slice the cake for enjoyment with you and your friends. Or if you more prefer, like the kid from Matilda, just go ahead and eat it by yourself.